Let's be honest with each other for a moment. Look at the timeline. We are moving through 2026. Do you feel a radical shift in your reality? Or does this year feel suspiciously like a carbon copy of the last one? There is a very specific, uncomfortable sensation that hits many people when they look in the mirror. It is the realization that despite the change in the calendar year, the operator behind the eyes hasn't upgraded their software. You are running the same outdated scripts, reacting to the same triggers, and expecting a different output. Do not let 2026 become another ghost year in the biography of your life. We are drawing a line in the sand right now. We need to dismantle a popular lie. Society tells you that life transformation is a lightning strike, a moment of lottery luck, or a sudden burst of divine motivation. That is statistically false. Excellence is not an act, it is a habit. Your future is not determined by your dreams or your vision boards. Your future is determined by the compounded interest of your daily protocols. One microscopic deviation in your morning trajectory changes the destination of your entire day. 10 such deviations change the trajectory of your decade. Today, I am not giving you a pep talk. I am handing you the source code. We are going to install 10 non-negotiable operating principles, 10 habits that will restructure your physiology, sharpen your psychology, and architect a version of 2026 that you can actually be proud of. If you are tired of negotiating with your own potential, get a pen. We are moving from theory to execution. The first pillar of this new architecture is reclaiming the timeline. You must wake up before the collective consciousness of the world comes online. I am not demanding you join the cult of 4 a.m. for the sake of suffering. This isn't about masochism, it is about strategy. I want you to wake up 45 to 60 minutes earlier than your current default. Why? Because of the concept of input zero. When you wake up with the rest of the world, you are immediately assaulted by the psychic noise of society. Traffic, emails, family demands, the news cycle. You start your day on defense, reacting to the world's agenda. But in that dark, quiet window before the sun rises, the world is on pause. There are no inputs. This silence is the most expensive luxury asset you can own. In this vacuum, you have the space to think without interruption, to strategize without distraction, and to center your nervous system before the chaos begins. By waking up early, you are engaged in a hostile takeover of your morning. You are establishing that you are the proactive author of this day, not a passive character in it. Imagine the psychological edge you gain, knowing that while your competition is hitting snooze and bargaining with reality, you have already hydrated, thought, and prepared. You have won the first battle before they have even opened their eyes. This builds a psychological momentum that carries you through the rest of the day. The second habit seems deceptively trivial, yet it is the foundation of military-grade discipline. You must reconstruct your sleeping quarters immediately upon rising. In simple terms, make your bed. There is a reason this is drilled into elite soldiers. It is not about interior design. It is about task completion psychology. When you make your bed, you are securing your first concrete victory of the day. It takes 90 seconds, but it signals to your brain that the cycle of productivity has begun. You have successfully opened and closed a task loop. This releases a microdose of dopamine, the molecule of motivation, which naturally propels you toward the next task. Furthermore, we must address the broken windows theory of the mind. Your external environment is a direct mirror of your internal state. If your sanctuary is chaotic, unmade, and messy, your mind will mirror that entropy. You cannot expect crystal clear focus in a visually noisy environment. By creating order in your physical space, you are essentially organizing your thoughts. Plus, consider the end of the day. When you return home, battered by the demands of the world, walking into a chaotic bedroom adds insult to injury. Walking into a pristine, organized space is a gift from your morning self to your evening self. It is an act of self-respect. Human will is a battery, not an infinite generator. This brings us to the third habit. Execute your most formidable task first. This is often called eating the frog, but let's look at the neuroscience. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for complex analysis and willpower, is freshest in the morning. As the day wears on, you suffer from decision fatigue. Your cognitive edge dulls with every email you answer and every choice you make. Therefore, it is logically insane to save your hardest work for 3 p.m. Identify the one task you are dreading, the complex report, the difficult conversation, the heavy workout, the study session. Do it immediately. Do not think about it. Do not check your email first. Attack the friction point while your mental blade is sharp. The psychological payoff here is immense. Once the monster is slain, the shadow of anxiety lifts. You walk through the rest of your day with a feeling of lightness and invincibility because the hardest part is already behind you. This habit trains you to stop flinching at discomfort. It rewires your identity from someone who procrastinates to someone who executes. In 2026, we do not run from the fire. We walk directly through it. This fourth habit is where 99% of people fail. They lose the war for their attention within seconds of waking up. You must implement a digital airlock for the first 60 minutes of your day. The modern smartphone is a slot machine in your pocket. When you open social media or email the moment you wake up, you are flooding your dopamine receptors with cheap, unearned stimulation. You are training your brain to be reactive, scattered, and dependent on external validation. You are letting the algorithms dictate your emotional state before you have even brushed your teeth. If you read a tragic news headline or an annoying work email at 7:05 a.m., your cortisol spikes and your focus is shattered. Protect this hour with your life. Keep the phone in another room or on airplane mode. Use this time for output, not input. Use it to build your mind, not to consume the garbage of the internet. Write, stretch, think, or simply exist in the quiet. By denying the urge to scroll, you are strengthening your attention span. In an economy of distraction, deep focus is the ultimate competitive advantage. Be the person who is unreachable, not the person who is always available. Sedentary behavior is the silent killer of ambition. Habit number 5 is non-negotiable. You must generate kinetic energy. Move your body. I'm not asking you to run a marathon every morning. I'm asking you to signal to your biology that you are alive. Evolutionarily, we are designed to move. When you remain stagnant, your system stays in a state of dormancy. Engage in 10 minutes of deliberate movement. Calisthenics, yoga, a brisk walk, jump rope. The method is irrelevant. The mechanism is what matters. 3 physiological miracles happen when you move in the morning. First, you oxygenate the blood, which travels to the brain and clears the fog of sleep inertia. Second, you release endorphins and BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which essentially acts as fertilizer for your neural pathways, increasing your ability to learn and solve problems. Third, you artificially generate energy. You do not need to wait to feel energetic. You create energy through motion. If your body is lethargic, your mind will be dull. You cannot have a high-performance psychology in a low-performance physiology. Most people are operating in a state of chronic low-grade dehydration and they don't even know it. Habit 6 is simple but critical. Hydrate before you caffeinate. During the 6 to 8 hours you are asleep, your body is losing water through respiration and sweat. You wake up physically dried out. Your brain, which is roughly 75% water, shrinks slightly in volume when dehydrated. This manifests as brain fog, fatigue, and irritability. What do most people do? They immediately blast their dehydrated system with coffee, a diuretic, which dehydrates them further. Stop this madness! Your first act of consumption should be 500 milliliters of water. Think of this as topping up the coolant in a high-performance engine before you hit the gas. This jumpstarts your metabolism, lubricates your joints, and flushes out the metabolic waste products accumulated during sleep. You will be shocked at how much tiredness is actually just thirst. Fix the hardware and the software runs smoother. Habit 7 returns to your environment. You must ruthlessly curate your surroundings. Keep your space clinical and clean. There is a concept in user experience design called cognitive load. Every item in your visual field takes a microscopic amount of processing power to register. A cluttered desk, a pile of laundry, or a sink full of dishes creates visual noise. This noise runs in the background of your brain, draining your battery and increasing cortisol levels. When you work in chaos, you feel chaotic. When you live in filth, you feel unworthy. You do not need to be a minimalist monk, but you must practice resetting to zero. Take 10 minutes a day to restore order. Clear your desktop, both physical and digital. Delete the screenshots you don't need. Fold the clothes, wipe the surfaces. This is not a chore. It is an act of clearing the runway for your mind to take off. When you sit down to work at a clean desk, you are telling your brain, there are no distractions here, only the mission. In a rapidly evolving economy, if you are not learning, you are dying. Habit 8 is the practice of daily intellectual expansion. Dedicate just 10 minutes to downloading new information. The excuse, "I don't have time," is a lie. Everyone has 10 minutes. The problem is that most people spend those 10 minutes doom scrolling or watching mind-numbing content. Replace that dead time with active learning. Read 10 pages of a biography, listen to a specific educational podcast segment, study a technical article related to your field. Here is the math of the winter arc, or any arc you choose. 10 minutes a day is over 60 hours of focused learning a year. That is the equivalent of reading 15 to 20 non-fiction books. While your peers are stagnating, you are slowly, invisibly accumulating a massive library of mental models and skills. This is how you outpace the competition, not by sprinting once a month, but by marching every single day. Feed your mind as religiously as you feed your body. Habit 9 is psychological bedrock. You must keep one small promise to yourself every single day. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is the reputation you have with yourself. Every time you set a goal, "I will work out today," and you don't do it, you are teaching your brain that you are a liar. You are eroding your self-trust. To fix this, we start small. We perform integrity reps. Choose a promise that is so small you cannot say no. I will do 5 push-ups. I will drink 1 glass of water. I will read 1 page. Then you execute it with religious precision. When you say you will do a thing, and then you do that thing, you are forging a neural pathway of reliability. You are proving to yourself that your word is law. As you stack these small victories, your capacity for discipline expands. You cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. You need the solid foundation of self-trust. This habit builds that foundation. Finally, we arrive at the close of the day. Habit 10 is the evening audit. Before you close your eyes, identify 3 wins from the last 12 hours. The human brain has a negativity bias. It is designed to scan for threats and failures. If you had 9 successes and 1 failure today, your brain will obsess over the failure while you try to sleep. We need to manually override this default setting. Write down 3 things you did well. They don't have to be Nobel Prize achievements. I didn't lose my temper. I focused for 30 minutes. I cooked a healthy meal. By forcing your brain to scan for victory, you are programming your reticular activating system, RAS, to spot opportunities and successes tomorrow. You are ending the day on a note of competence rather than deficiency. This improves your sleep quality and sets a positive psychological baseline for the next morning. So here is the reality of the situation. You can read every productivity book ever written. You can watch 1,000 videos like this one. You can buy the most expensive planner on the market, but none of that matters if the behavior doesn't change. 2026 is indifferent to your intentions. It only respects your actions. These 10 habits are not a random list of chores. They are a system. They are a holistic framework designed to optimize your biology, psychology, and environment. They are the scaffolding upon which you build a life of consequence. But a word of warning: do not try to be a hero and install all 10 of these tomorrow. That is a recipe for burnout and failure. We are playing the long game here. Start with the aggregation of marginal gains. Pick one, just one. Maybe it's the water. Maybe it's the phone ban. Master it until it becomes as automatic as breathing. Then stack the next one on top. This is how you build a masterpiece, brick by brick, layer by layer. You have a choice right now. You can close this video, go back to the dopamine loop, and let 2026 happen to you. Or you can decide to be the architect. You can decide that this year you are not drifting. You are driving. The blueprint is in your hands. The construction begins when you wake up tomorrow. If you are ready to stop drifting and start building, make the commitment. Do not just watch, execute. Welcome to the new standard.